Alright, good morning. Well, kind of. It was freezing cold this morning, so I waited till the afternoon to get on this. But my 2004 Prius started cutting out last night while I was driving on acceleration. And then if you stop and idle, it sounds like it's knocking. Honestly, it scared the shit out of me when it started doing this because the knock, well, anytime you hear a knock on something, it's not good. But we're going to go start with the easiest things first, alright? So when you're diagnosing something like this, you got to consider all the factors. Right off the bat, I know the car has sat 2-3 days in freezing temperatures with almost no gas in it. That can be a problem because you can build up moisture inside your fuel lines or inside your gas tank, which can mix with your gas. And that'll cause it to cut out and stall and shit like that. And there's a crosswalk like 20 feet away, bud. Anyway, so that'll cause it to start to cut out and whatnot. So I put some fuel additive in there last night. Let it idle for a little bit on low to mix that shit in there. And I'm going to go ahead and top it off with a couple gallons of premium just to get a better mix in case there is some water in there. I'm going to let it idle for a little bit and we'll go from there. After I put the fuel in it, I'm going right now to the auto parts store to buy a set of plugs. Because there's three things it can probably, well, there's a lot of things it could be, but there's three things that we're going to start with. The first is the water in the line, and that's the easiest and cheapest to address. All you need to get is a jug of ISO heat, and this stuff is just alcohol. You pour it in there, and it'll help burn the water out quicker. And then if that doesn't do it, your next step will be to do your spark plugs. And I believe on this car, the spark plugs are supposed to be done at 120,000 anyway, and it's got 170. So it's time for new plugs. And plus, that don't take very long. Yeah, and it's your next least expensive option. If that doesn't solve the problem, then the next thing we got to do is start going through the coil packs and see if we got a bad coil pack. Which is the thing that hooks onto the spark plug. So we'll do the plugs first, run it, hopefully everything's cured. If not, we'll start going through the coil packs, figure out which one of those is possibly bad. That gets to be a little bit more expensive. I mean, spark plugs are $33. The coil pack is like $185, I think, each, and there's 4 of them. So the cheapest option to start with was the heat for $2.98 and a can of gas for $500. $500 for 2 gallons of premium. I'm going to start there. We'll work our way up. These are some of the most expensive spark plugs I've ever bought. $33 for a set of spark plugs. It's going to be crazy. But I'm going to go have some breakfast. And then grab the spark plugs and we'll go from there. Alright, so here we are under the hood of the Prius. Now the spark plugs are right back here. There's a coil pack down underneath there. First thing is this relay has to come out of the way, and there's just two 10 millimeters, one there, one there. We'll pull those, and this will just move over out of the way, and then we can get right to all of our plugs and coil packs right there. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Alright, so there we are with the coil pack removed. Spark plug's way down in there, and here's our first plug. See if we can get a good look at the head on that. Now the sound was coming from over here on this one, but I started on this hole and this plug looks like shit. So we'll just do the same thing. Take this bolt out, another 10 millimeter, pull the coil pack off, get down in there, get that Spark plug out, grab it with a pair of pliers, drop a new one in. Hopefully, that's all we're looking at. Alright, so there you can see the comparison between new plug and old plug. Quite a difference. So this should probably get rid of a lot of issues. Hopefully it addresses the one we're trying to address. But this should improve everything overall. We'll see. Alright, so there's the 4 old plugs. This one here is looking really good. That one's got me kind of nervous. But we got 4 brand new ones in there. Everything's bolted back up, the relay's back on. All the coil packs are back together. I put 2 gallons of premium in it. And I got all my tools put away. So it's time for the moment of truth. Start it up and see if it knocks. Alright, so it's quite a bit later. But I finally made it back to pick up the Prius after doing the spark plugs on it. It seems to be running fantastic. I took it for a small test drive earlier. It worked pretty good. But I'm about to get on the road and open it up. I have no sounds coming from it anymore. Like, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. All right. So the sounds that were coming from the engine, I was pretty sure that I had some catastrophic failure going on. It was not sounding good at all. It's not the kind of sound you want to hear coming from a motor. Luckily, it wasn't anything bad, well, that we know of. Luckily, it turned out that it was just the spark plug, so most of the sound we were hearing was the compression pushing that dead cylinder along. But man, it sounded like an engine knock. So I'm thinking the combination of the water in the fuel line and the spark plugs was our culprit. That's what caused the whole issue. Next time there's a snowstorm like that, I won't let it sit in the driveway empty. I'll fill it up beforehand. If we know we've got a storm coming, you should fill up anyway. So none of that, it probably wouldn't have done that, and it probably fouled the plugs when we started driving it with water in the lines. So yeah, just a cautious and reminder, I guess, is keep your gas tank full so you don't get moisture buildup in there. I'll add in a picture of the old plugs so you guys can get an idea of how bad they looked. But we're across town. I'm going 40 miles an hour. Smooth. It's actually driving smoother than it was before, so I'm pretty sure those plugs were bad anyway. But man, this turned out a lot better. Turned out a lot better than what I thought. To be able to stop at just what, $46 is what I ended up spending on repairs, is a hell of a lot better than taking it to a mechanic and having it diagnosed and figuring everything out and paying for all that. So just a little bit of watching some videos on the internet and reading some articles. You know, you can pretty much teach yourself how to do any of this stuff. Yeah. So stay safe, you guys, and thanks for watching. And maybe next time I'll actually do a little bit more work